In the late model division, would Brian Johnson be able to hold his slim 2-point lead over Jeff Martin? In the high-powered sportsman class, veteran Dick Moeller had a slight edge over last year's champion Steve Anderson. The Thunder Cars ended with a tie at the top between Lawrence Ginsler and Bob Wood, neither of whom won a feature race yet this season. And in the Wild Bomber division, could racing Rob Osdick keep his lead over Dennis the Menace Barta? And finally, can the Green Mamba jet car really melt down a Buick? All those questions will be answered next. Hello again, everyone. Along with Ted Austad, I'm Wally Shaver. Some great racing action last Saturday night for the mid-season championship sponsored by the Minnesota State Lottery.
That's right. It's hard to believe we're at the mid-season point, and fans that have come out to Elko Speedway thus far have been thoroughly entertained by all four divisions. And Wally, it was no different last Saturday night.
Excellent racing. We're going to have some super highlights for you. But maybe the highlight for me, it was the first time I had a chance to see this guy, but the Green Mamba jet car was there. Look at this, folks, as he takes a few laps around the track, sends out a few smoke signals and fireworks to begin things off, and then later on, you see the Buick sitting there in the infield. Now, you can barely see it here, but watch. As he lights up the burners, this is a full-fledged jet engine, and it literally melts this Buick. Sparks flying all over, going 60, 80 feet away, over the wall with some of the parts, and this is what remains of that good old Buick. We'll be back for more.
At the end of the day, more top mechanics in America choose one motor oil over any other brand to help keep their own cars running longer. Valvoline motor oil. People who know use Valvoline.
What do you get when you cross a high-quality conventional motor oil with an advanced formula synthetic? A revolutionary new oil that protects better than regular oils, yet costs 40% less than full synthetics. DuraBlend from Valvoline. People who know use Valvoline.
Choosing the right heating and cooling dealer used to be a real guessing game. Would he be a professional? A guy you can really trust? But now, with Lennox Quality Dealer Standards, Lennox products and dealers are an unbeatable team.
For all your Lennox needs, call Gens Rhine Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning in Rosemount.
Quality Dealer Standards, only from Lennox.
Budweiser welcomes you to the Voodoo Lounge. The Rolling Stones Voodoo Lounge Tour, live. Only one band is rock and roll, and only one beer can bring it to you. Budweiser, King of Beers.
Elko fans had a bonus Saturday night as there was two feature races in the Valvoline NASCAR late model division. Going into the feature racing, only 2 points separated Jeff Martin and the defending champion Brian Johnson. But Jeff Martin had himself a secret weapon, a big race fan.
Go, Daddy, go.
As Ken Wallstad unfurled the green flag, pole sitter Tim Stanley powered his number 69 ride into the number 1 slot. Tim Johnson in the white 99 Olds hurried up alongside Stanley by lap 4 and tapped his bumper 2 laps later. But moving into the picture were the first chiropractic number 16 car of Scott LaFavor and Bloomington's number 6 ride of Barry Tanner. The battle up front was as close as you can get. But problems arose around the midway point of the 30-lap feature race, Ted.
Tim Johnson was pulling past Stanley for the lead. Rick Austin's white number 19 Chevrolet bumped the number 00 car of Lauren Petrash. Austin pulled into the infield as a result of that incident, and as Austin re-entered the track, the leaders were coming through turn 1. Scott Lefevre in the black number 16 car had pulled up alongside Stanley, looking to take away second. Meanwhile, Austin was down low on the track, but not quite low enough as the three-car sandwich knocked Stanley out of the race after a tremendous run.
From the restart, Tim Johnson kept his lead despite a smoking tire from sheet metal rubbing on the outside of his tire wall. Tanner was ducking inside and working outside, but couldn't get past Johnson. In fact, Tanner attempted a three-wide pass, but to no avail, and that really got a rouse out of the fans. Meanwhile, Rosemount's Jim Culseth had a sensational ride in the race. He started out in 9th place and had worked the field perfectly, and with 8 laps left, he had snuck past Tanner for second spot. Culseth now set his sights on Johnson's number 99 Olds. The last lap, folks, was just a dandy. Culseth pulled alongside Johnson, and it was a drag to the finish. Culseth got a little loose in turn number 2, and that dropped him a little bit of ground between the two cars. It enabled Johnson to cruise to the line first. Jim Culseth settled for second, and Barry Tanner crossed the line in third.
Race number 2 with the mid-season title on the line. The late model point leaders found themselves lined up side by side in the third row. The number 7 Ford of Jeff Martin was on the inside.
Go, Daddy, go.
And number 18, Brian Johnson, on the outside.
Flying Brian Mundahl sat on the pole in his number 8 Merrick's Towing Lumina and grabbed the lead outright by lap 3. Brad Miller pulled his bright red Don's Appliance Dodge up into the second place slot. Martin was in third and Brian Johnson 6th, 5 laps into the race. But by lap 10, Mundahl had a 4-car-length lead over Miller and was looking absolutely unbeatable. Mike Toom of Northfield had a great battle brewing with Martin as these seasoned veterans staged a classic door-to-door battle.
Despite the closeness up front, another wily veteran of the Oval, Steve Mergic, had accepted the last place start in the 20-car field by accepting the DC Mechanical Ultimate Challenge. A third of the way through the feature, Mergic had already passed half of the field. On lap 22, disaster struck Jeff Martin in his bid for the mid-season title. For almost half the race, he and Tuma had kept this struggle alive. On the back chute, the two came together, spinning out of control. Tuma was knocked out of the race, and Martin was sent to the back of the pack with only 8 laps left. Martin's quest for the mid-season title was over as he collected only 4 points between the two feature races Saturday night.
As the 330 horsepower engines continued from the restart, the Johnsons, Brian in number 18 and Tim in the white 99, challenged Fly and Brian in number 8 for the lead. At the finish, the crowd left their seats to see Mundahl win by a mere foot over Brian Johnson. But Mundahl was found to have too high of a compression ratio in his engine and was disqualified. The final order found Jim Culseth finishing third, Tim Johnson second, and Brian Johnson came across the line for the win and the mid-season title.
2 feature races tonight in the Valvoline NASCAR Late Model Division for the mid-season championship. And Brian Johnson, you came from about the middle of the pack in the first feature race and came oh so close. What goes through a driver's mind when you're that close?
Well, you know, you just do what you can do, and actually tonight was a makeup, and the car wasn't handling as good tonight as it was last week when we finished second, but we had to take it, and we did what we could.
Now the car seemed to be really hooking up in the outside groove, especially in that first race. Did the tires seem a little slick out there, and that's why you couldn't get the job done?
Yeah, actually, it was really slippery out there, and we changed the car for the second feature, and it was quite a bit better, and we come up a couple of feet short in the second feature.
All season long, you've been battling it out with Jeff Martin for this point lead, and tonight, a little mishap with Jeff as he got hooked up with Mike Tuma. That happened right in front of you.
Yeah, they were just racing, and I didn't exactly see what happened, but they touched and got hooked together or something, and I don't know, Mike got it flat, and I don't know exactly what happened to Jeff.
Well, now last year you were the champion out here in the NASCAR Late Model Division. You're the point leader now here tonight. What's the plan for the rest of the last half of the season here?
Well, we're right at this point. We're just going to forget about the points, and we're just going to race as hard as we can every week, and at the end of the season is when we'll worry about the points.
Well, as of right now, you are the point leader, and on behalf of the Minnesota State Lottery, I'd like to present you with this mid-season trophy. Congratulations, Brian.
Thank you.
We'll be right back with some more great racing from Elko Speedway.
At FINA, the drive to the 21st century has begun, and here's where it's led. To a formula for gasoline so advanced it reduces emissions as you drive and increases gasoline mileage with just a few tankfuls. We call these gasolines Genesis, because in so many ways, they're a whole new beginning. Genesis gasoline. From your friends at FINA, the formula for the future.
Attention NASCAR fans, come to the Elko Speedway July 4th for the Twin Cities Featherlight Dwayne Barron's Classic. For this special event, see up close and on display Kyle Petty's mellow yellow Winston Cup stock car. This 4th, there ain't nothing mellow about Elko.
At the end of the day, more top mechanics in America choose one motor oil over any other brand to help keep their own cars running longer. Valvoline motor oil. People who know use Valvoline.
What do you get when you cross a high-quality conventional motor oil with an advanced formula synthetic, a revolutionary new oil that protects better than regular oils, yet costs 40% less than full synthetics? DuraBlend from Valvoline. People who know use Valvoline.
The gap between first and second place in the Minnesota State Lottery mid-season championship for the Sportsman's Division was a little bit more pronounced than in the late model class, but Apple Valley's Dick Moeller had a 6-point edge over Lonsdale's Steve Anderson as they headed into the feature.
Another classic confrontation as these two top guns found themselves lined up side by side in the third row for the start of the feature race. Number 56, Dangerous Dan Jorgensen, 20th in points, had his Buick on the pole for the start. A nice jump by Orono's Ken Eastlick as he brought his blue number 80 Chevrolet up into second place, a spot he would hold through the first 5 laps. But his challenge was coming from the hard-charging red Chevrolet of Anderson in car number 17. By lap 7, Anderson gained a foothold on second place.
Eastlick faded a little more, and halfway through, while riding in 5th place, he found himself going sideways and was clipped by the number 9 ride of Rob Host out of Mound. No cautions flew, but it cost Eastlick considerable ground. Through 15 laps, Jorgensen kept his lead. Anderson stayed with him as they began pulling away from the rest of the field. And meanwhile, points later, Dick Moeller was back in 8th place.
As the full moon peeked through the clouds, Dan Ryan continued his steady climb through traffic in his red Gens Ryan Chevrolet. He had himself moved up all the way to 3rd place. The top 8 cars were neatly bunched together and putting on a fantastic racing show.
Jorgensen led the way with the dash for the cash, but it was Steve Anderson, Dan Ryan, Paul Payne, a wild Bill Rohde, and the slightly damaged Rob Host making the last couple of laps a real thriller.
On the last lap, Ryan was pushing hard on the outside groove, testing Anderson for all his worth. In the end, Jorgensen claimed the gold as he went wire to wire, and Ryan eclipsed Anderson for second. Anderson's ride was a good one, but not quite good enough as he fell 3 points short to Dick Moeller for the midseason crown.
One of the more amazing stories in the Elko Speedway racing family this year has been the success of Dick Moeller in car number 29 in the Sportsman Division. What I think is unique about that, Dick, is the fact that you've been racing the same car for 8 years. How do you keep that thing in such top-notch condition?
Oh, we just check our parts and, try to maintain them. Sometimes it gets away from us, but we always manage to find something wrong and fix it and get back to the front.
I think you're a great example of how you can keep a car going, especially an older car like that, plus the driving skills that you can lend to it, because you're in a class that is really very, very competitive. There's a lot of drivers there that any night can win the race.
Yeah, the competition's really tough on... This year it seems to really be tough. Tires really made us even. And it's anybody's race on any night.
With the tire change this year where everybody is running the same type of tires, has it been an advantage for you?
Well, learning, trying to figure the tires out is the big advantage, and I'm still trying to figure them out. We might happen to hit lucky one night and run good, and the next night be way off, which tonight I think we were off, but we're still out there having fun.
Well, you're having enough fun to make yourself the mid-season champion. On behalf of the Minnesota State Lottery, I want to present you with the mid-season championship, and certainly all the best of luck in the second half of the season.
Thank you.
Here's our top 10 reasons to shop Tires Plus. Number 10, weed 2 windows. 9, all the top brands. 8, don't like them? Exchange them. 7, work fast. 6, mouth to feed. 5, we recycle. 4, 90 days, no payment. 3, best price guarantee. 2, will a line break and shock you. And our number 1 reason to shop Tires Plus, we're Minnesota-based and Minnesota nice. Low warehouse prices, fast, world-class service.
Tires Plus. Now, when you buy a case of quality Valvoline motor oil, you can send away for a Valvoline hat.
Honey, I'm going out.
Okay.
And become a member of the Valvoline Performance Team. Join the Valvoline Performance Team, and you'll feel like you're right in the middle of the action. So buy a case and get a hat, plus great deals on Valvoline racing gear and a lot more.
Honey, where have you been?
Just out for a little spin.
People who know use Valvoline.
Hi, my name is Bob Fredrickson, owner and promoter of Elko Speedway, and I'd like to invite you all out here for the July 4th weekend, starting on Saturday, July 2nd, with the 4th annual Kim Classic and a 50-lap late model feature, plus the other 3 divisions. And on Monday, July 4th, the big one for the NASCAR Northern Series 100-lap late model feature, plus the Sportsman Thunder Cars and Bombers. Hope to see you all here.
A short rain delay stopped racing during the Thunder Car heat races, but that didn't dampen the spirits of the drivers. As lightning flashed around the Elko countryside, the Thunder entered the track as 29 cars lined up for the Thunder Car feature race.
2 week point totals and an inverted field landed Jason Austad on the pole. Back in row 3 was the red number 30 car of Spring Lake Park's Bob White. He entered this feature tied for the points lead with Farmington's Lawrence Gensler at 310 season points each. Gensler was starting inside of row number 7. The green light sent Austad to the lead, and he had built a 4-car gap after just 2 laps over White and the number 46 ride of Chuck Cito.
A super battle for 4th was developing between the number 26 car of Stephanie Wasgott, 27 Rick Cott, and the number 40 ride of Dave Cockatoo Parrott. Cott was working the outside, then ducked down inside with Parrott trying the outside. The two zigzagged looking for daylight. Moving into the picture was number 56, Thad Sunsdall of Faribault.
The top 2 cars increased their lead over the pack, with Austad holding the point and Cito in his Looney Tunes machine closing the gap. Just 6 laps left, and it was a 2-car race between Austad and Cito. Bob White had moved up to 3rd place, but was a quarter lap behind the leaders.
The yellow caution came out on lap 17 when Dangerous Dan Jorgensen, the only driver competing in 2 Elko divisions, wound up along the wall between turns 3 and 4. With 3 laps to go on the restart, the field was tightened. The series co-leaders, Bob White and Lawrence Gensler, were starting 3rd and 8th respectively. Probably too little race left for Gensler to reel in the Bob White car.
Austad again pulled away, keeping his distance from the 2nd-place car of Cito. Bob White secured 3rd, and that also earned him the Minnesota State Lottery mid-season championship.
The thundering Thunder cars, the mid-season is over with, and Bob White, consistency seems to be prevalent in your race strategy, as we haven't had a chance to interview you yet this year because you haven't been in victory lane, but you're mid-season champion. How do you do that?
Hard work. Just go out and try and finish. Do as best we can every week.
Now, like tonight, you finished a tough third place. Is consistency something that you look for each and every Saturday night when you get out here to the track?
So we try to do, just try and finish every night, drive the car in the trailer, do the best we can, not take any chances, drive clean, and hope for the best. Hope
You
for a good start. Go from there.
You have a real clean car here. You kind of keep your nose out of trouble. Does that kind of fit into the plan?
Oh, we try to. It's a lot of work to get it to look like this in the first place all winter long, and I think we've just been a little lucky, too.
Well, Bob, on behalf of the Minnesota State Lottery, I'd like to present you with the mid-season championship. Congratulations.
Keeping our lives in alignment's a big challenge. Seems like we're always hitting those proverbial potholes. To get back into alignment, we need to prioritize and use our time wisely. Hi, I'm Tom Gigax. Speaking of alignment, when your car or truck hits a pothole, come to Tires Plus for a free alignment check. Just as you need to keep your life in alignment, keep your car or truck in alignment at Tires Plus.
World-class service, Tires Plus. Why use Valvoline motor oil? It's the #1 choice of Indy 500 chief mechanics, Daytona 500 chief mechanics, NHRA mechanics, and Baja 1000 mechanics. For use in their race cars and in their own cars. Any more questions? People who know use Valvoline.
One of the most important drives towards the 21st century was a test drive, not of a car, but of a gasoline. Independent engineers conducted a test developed by BMW that analyzed intake valve deposits, performance, fuel system cleaning. What they found was a gasoline created with the same drive as the car it powered. The super unleaded Genesis gasoline. From your friends at FINA, the formula for the future.
Here come the Elko Bombers, bombs away. One class of cars to go, but two big races. Royce and Rob Osdick entered the night with 299 points, 13 better than runner-up Dennis Barta for the Bomber Division title. Rob has put together a very consistent season all year long in the sometimes rocky Bomber Division, and he's earned himself just one feature win in the process. But his job tonight, stay ahead of Barta.
Jay Hulbert entered the night 9th in points and finished the evening 6th overall. He started the first feature race on the pole and took the first lap lead. The race was stopped when Leon Doherty in car number 52 hit the front straightaway wall with a pretty good jolt. Hulbert kept building his lead on the restart over the number 34 ride of Northfield's Dean Erickson and lucky number 13 Dave Franek. By lap 4, Ostick in his white #1 Raceway Park Chevrolet Nova was storming up the outside groove with the number 3 Chevrolet of Mike Skaya on his tail. The two of them were closing the gap on the top 4.
It was bumper to bumper up front between Hulbert, the leader, and Erickson. That struggle and a 5-car battle for third kept the fans cheering. Near the end of the race, Erickson tapped the leader while Osdick was running alongside the 13-car of Franek for third. So many close battles in this one, but Hulbert prevailed and gathered in the checkered flag.
The nightcap in the Bomber races saw Barta in his number 03 bruised black and blue colored car up in row 2, and he stayed right with the leaders at the drop of the green. Mike Noggle sped to the front in his number 15 Pontiac. But on the back straight of lap 3, Mike Skaya, once again in that number 3 Chevrolet, roared to the front, and Dennis Barta continued the slide of Noggle, securing second.
As Noggle faded back a couple of spots, he was greeted by the number 44 car of Gary Fredrickson. By lap 5, Fredrickson was in third for the youngster, who comes from a solid racing family, very much steeped in that racing tradition. A glancing blow off the back straightaway wall knocked Dave Franek's bumper loose. He was black flagged from the race at that point.
The top 3 cars of Skaya, Barta, and Fredrickson enjoyed a comfortable gap over the rest of the field by lap 10. Racing Rob Austad had quietly worked his way into the top 5, but at the end of the race, Austad would only finish in 7th place. Mike Skaya took home the checkered flag. Barta was 2nd, and Fredrickson with a very solid 3rd place. Rob Austad was able to secure enough points to finish 25 points ahead of Dennis Barta for the midseason crown.
First half champion in the Bomber division is Rocket Rob Austad, and you've done a super job all season long, but tonight maybe was a little bit more difficult because of the rain delay. How did that affect conditions on the track?
It was great during the first feature. The second feature, we were a little more loose, but we held in there.
Well, you held in there well enough to come up with the midseason championship. Have you had a game plan going into the season?
Yeah, don't take the car off the trailer during the week.
In other words, a lot of work goes into it, eh?
No, don't. Don't work on it. It stays on the trailer all week long.
What about your strategy on the track night tonight? Because you run into, in this division, a lot of drivers who maybe don't have a lot of racing experience behind them.
Just stay out of trouble. Stay away from the ones that cause you trouble. Just stay out of trouble is the main thing.
You picked up one feature win so far this year. Do you look for more?
A feature win, heat win, dash win. Yeah, I'd like to see more, but if they come, they come. If they don't, they don't.
Well, the Minnesota State Lottery wants to present you with the mid-season championship trophy. Congratulations and best of luck in the second half.
All right, thanks, Wally.
Elko Speedway invites you to write in for information on the Valvoline Performance Team. From the names we receive, each week we will select a winner of a complimentary Valvoline Performance Team membership. Winners will receive a case of Valvoline oil, a Valvoline Performance Team hat or t-shirt, team gear catalog, membership card good for special discounts, and 2 free tickets to an Elko Speedway event. For all this and much more, send in your name, address, and phone number to Elko Speedway, Box 246, Elko, Minnesota, 55020.
Congratulations to Diane Johnson of New Prague. She picks up all the Valvoline goodies and, of course, those couple of tickets to Elko Speedway. Let's get right into all the action coming up this weekend. It all starts Saturday night, 7:30 race time. It's the annual Kim Classic with the 50-lap late model feature plus all 4 divisions in action at Elko Speedway. But don't think that the action stops Saturday night, because all kinds of great racing action again on the 4th of July, Monday night, Wally.
That's right, folks. You only get a one-day rest and right back at it at Elko Speedway. All 4 classes are going to be running. However, the big feature is going to be the Dwayne Barron's Classic, as the Great Northern Series rolls into a town for a 100-lap late model feature race. It's going to be an absolutely outstanding show. Lots of fireworks to go on as well. But don't forget one critical thing, folks. It's a 6 o'clock starting time for the Great Northern Classic. Again, that 100-lap late model race on Monday, July the 4th.
A great weekend of racing coming up, and we wish you all a happy 4th of July. And as we leave you this week, let's take a look at more great action from that Green Mamba jet car.
Sport Mart has the low price.
Low price?
The low price on everything you're looking for. Like Huffy's NBA Performance Series Portable Basketball System, just $249.94. Huffy Ultra Pack, just $159.94. 48-inch backboard and goal, just $79.94. Sport Mart has the low price on Huffy so often that we confidently offer you double the difference back if you find it for less anywhere else. For the last word on the low price, it's Sport Mart.
You'll find what you're looking for at Sport Mart. Gonna take to the streets and spend some time on the road. I need a truck that'll take me where I wanna go. I need a Dodge, Dodge. I'll take a Dakota, it's the top of the line. The first mid-size pickup and it's one of a kind. That's Dodge, from America's Truck Stop Dodge.
Now, get up to $27.22 in discounts from package value on a new Dodge Dakota at America's Truck Stop, your Dodge dealer.
Norwest presents the Burnett Senior Classic. Armed with only their clubs, these veterans are going to battle. For the children, for the glory, and for the check. Come see the first shots fired and witness firsthand the spoils of Gaul. The Battle of Bunker.
With a full moon shining bright over Elko Speedway, Barry Tanner rocketed to the checker during the late model Craftsman Tool feature event. It was Tanner's first win of the 1994 season. Highlights from all 4 divisions, plus a lot more, next on the Valvoline Elko Race Report.
Even though the pre-race tinkering continues in the Elko Speedway motor pits, most of these cars are pretty well dialed in the way they want to run at Elko. Hello again, everyone. I'm Wally Shaver, and along with Ted Austad, some of the big determining factors in the racing right now is driving skills and also where they start in the opening grid of the feature races. Exactly how are those things determined?
Well, there's a few different factors that go into the determination of how the cars are lined up for each race. But basically, if you have had a couple tough weeks, you're going to start up in the front. If you had a couple of good weeks, you're going to start in the back of the pack and have to pass a lot of cars. That makes for great racing, and that's what happens at Elko Speedway. We've got all those highlights plus a lot more.
Buckle your seatbelt. You won't believe what you're going to see next.
Why use Valvoline motor oil? It's
3 different occasions race leaders were taken out due to accidents. Well, Barry Tanner in the late model division had the enviable position of being on the pole for last Saturday night's full moon fever race with a full house on hand to watch the action.
Barry Tanner in the Extreme Towing Thunderbird used the pole position to squeeze ahead of number 16, Scott LeFavor. He found himself running door-to-door with the number 63 Justice Brothers Ford of Jim Colfax. Steve Frederickson in the Frederickson Lumber number 44 and number 99 Timmy Johnson completed the top 5. The outer groove was not working for LeFavor's first chiropractic Lumina. He slid back a few notches. That brought Colfax and Frederickson into the fold. Frederickson kept it close enough to tap Colfax's ride.
Tanner's huge lead was shortened when the 26 MGM Liquor Warehouse Camaro of Mark Lamoureux went for a spin, creating a caution. With the pack drawn close together for the resumption of the race, Frederickson's blue number 44 car settled alongside Tanner. Colfax was in row 2 with Steve Murgick's orange number 3 ride. Tanner sped to the front as Frederickson snared second. Murgick tried to pass Colfax on the outside, but he, too, found that the outer lane was very tough to stick in.
A 4-car altercation in turn 2 sideline top rookie challengers Bob Sellner in number 33 and also Brad Miller in the number 4 Don's Appliance Dodge. For the restart, Steve Murgick accepted the opening at the outside of row 1 as the cars realigned. The Extreme Towing, Barney, the dinosaur-colored purple car of Barry Tanner, resumed his lead, but a nice conflict was developing behind between Frederickson, Murgick, and sod farmer Les Ferris in the red number 14 KYMN radio car.
Murgick stayed to the outside in his fading efforts to secure 4th place. Frederickson would hold his number 2 spot to the conclusion of the race. Now, Murgick and Ferris were jockeying for 3rd. Ferris held the low groove with Murgick on the outside. But on lap 29 of the 30-lap feature race, the score was settled when Ferris busted sod of a different sort as he spun into the infield. Tough finish for Les, who had an excellent run for the majority of the race and appeared to have earned a 3rd-place finish. Instead, he missed out of the top 10.
Barry Tanner came around across the finish line ahead of everybody, pick up his first feature win of 1994. Dwayne Frederickson is standing by with our winner.
We're here with Barry Tanner Jr., the winner of the Valvoline NASCAR Late Model Feature. Barry, can you tell me a little bit about the race tonight?
Sure. The Extreme Towing Valvoline Ford Thunderbird was running well tonight. We had a good starting position. Got a little worried when Steve Murgick got up alongside of us. He's a track champion out here, runs well. But the car was working really well tonight. We were able to fend them off, pull out a little bit of a lead, and was real happy tonight.
All right, what do you think about, what goes through your mind when somebody as good as Steve Mergic pulls up next to him? I mean, are you concerned about that, or do you drive differently?
Well, you got to concentrate. The main thing you got to do. Concentrate, run a good line. If you let the person next to you let you know that you're a little worried about that they're there, they'll take care of you.
Well, that's something that I wanted to ask you about. Is it a disadvantage running a Ford? Is it an advantage running a Ford? How do you feel about that?
We're a Ford family. We've owned Fords in our family ever since I was a little kid. I just enjoy Fords. I think we're a little bit on disadvantage on some of the horsepower ends. Jeff Martin seems to show a little more. We haven't quite figured that out yet, but our car makes it up in the handling department. We work hard at that, and I'm happy with it.
Okay, congratulations, Barry.
Thank you.
Against the floorboard, you'll feel the rumble of competition right in your own seat. Have you ever seen racing so exciting you need your own seatbelt? Now you can. The NASCAR Winston Racing Series. When the big race begins, just remember to hold on tight.
Attention race fans, buckle up, start your engines, and hold on tight. The 1994 Elko Speedway Video Yearbook is coming your way. Over an hour of action-packed NASCAR excitement, crashes, close finishes, and plenty of door-to-door racing. Only $24.95. Everyone should own a copy. To get yours, call Minnesota Video Productions at 721-7100. Or outside the metro, call 1-800-783-3099. The 1994 Elko Speedway Video Yearbook. Order yours today.
At the end of the day, motor oil over any other brand to help keep their own cars running longer. Valvoline motor oil. People who know use Valvoline.
What do you get when you cross a high-quality conventional motor oil with an advanced formula synthetic, a revolutionary new oil that protects better than regular oils, yet costs...
Welcome back to the Valvoline Elko Race Report.
A full moon helps to light up the Elko countryside. Superstitious track promoters liken the full moon to a werewolf. Bad things can happen. Not last Saturday night, though. The sportsman cars paraded onto the track for their 25-lap feature event. From the green, Kurt Barfnick, driving the number 50 car, jumped out to the lead. Dick Moeller's steel gray number 29 Chevelle slipped in behind the leader, and Wild Wilbur Bill Rohde earned third spot. Wilbur nosed into position behind Barfnick as Moeller swung to the outside.
Wilbur tried to stick his nose into the low groove as the lead pack hooked up for a three-wide effort in the race's early going. Moeller made a daring move on lap 8 as he powered his 8-year-old racing machine past Barfnick in turn 4. Tricky Dicky started to open a big lead in the race as he is trying to improve his second-place position in the season point standings.
The Gens Ryan car of number 39, Dan Ryan, began a tenacious climb to the front. Starting from the 5th row, Ryan slipped past the number 85 car of Bob Schneider through the turns and was now in 4th place at the halfway point of the event. It was plenty of fun as he moved up on Rohde, creating an interesting 3-car nose-to-tail train. Full Moon Fever struck the second-place car. Coming down the front straight, the RPMs got up. Kurt Barfnick's car barfed a big one, sending engine parts sky high and forcing his car into a skid to the infield.
11 laps remained as Moeller opened a big lead immediately from the restart, allowing him to watch the struggle behind him. Ryan brought his red 39 car to the outside of Wilbur's number 16 ride. They raced tire to tire for 4 laps before Ryan looked over his shoulder coming off the back chute and locked into the lower groove, solidifying his hold on second. The battles were everywhere as the last place cars of number 21, Rick Staffke, and 96, Don Bryett, staged their own contest right to the wire.
Moeller claimed his 5th feature win of the year and pulled within 3 points of Steve Anderson in the season point standings. Ryan did a great job in passing 7 cars on his way to finishing 2nd place, while Bill Rohde shook off 2 weeks of frustration with a 3rd place finish. Here's a look at the final finishing results from Saturday night's Sportsman Feature Race. Auto racing is an unforgiving sport. One mistake can cost a racer a good chunk of change. But it is all worth it when everything goes the way it is planned and you win the race. A season of ups and downs, some have relished in the glory, while others are beginning to worry. Let's take time out and just see how things are going.
Don't worry. Be happy.
So far, it's going good. I've been changing one thing at a time every week. Brand new car. I'm starting to run up front. Hopefully, we'll stay that way. So far, the racing season's been going pretty good. Being a rookie, we're doing a lot of learning this year, and I'm happy with the way we're running.
Season for the 11 Hooters car. Good. Opening night, we won, and for about the first 5 weeks, we ran real strong, and then myself, I wanted to go faster, so I started changing things, looking for the faster way, and that made me slower. So during the mid-season, we were slow, and now it's the second part, and I think we're back on top. We're running real strong again now.
Really well. We're real happy being in the top 10 right now, and points, I really don't think about points that much, but it's always nice to be there, and no, generally we're real happy.
The first part of the season was going pretty good for us, and then we got to mid-season. We were out of first by about 12 points, and after mid-season point, it kind of went downhill. The past 2 weekends, we've been in the wall and stung up the car pretty good. We're back tonight, got it back running. We just hope we can go out and run with the fast guys up front, and hopefully get the season championship is what I'm after.
We've been running pretty good every week. We've been running in the top 5. Early in the year, we had a few nights where we didn't finish, so we got behind in the points. But during the last month, we've had 3 victories, and hopefully we can keep the momentum going for the end of the season.
It's been pretty good overall. I've never been in a points contest like this before. I've been racing enduros for a long time, and I thought that would prepare me for weekly racing, but it's so much different. It's a lot more work, a lot more maintenance, but it's been a lot of fun. Been changing engines around and doing this and that, and just some stuff I'd never done before, so it's a real learning experience. Well, overall, I'd say it's been great. I'd like to thank my sponsor, John Paul's Auto, if I could. He's been a fantastic help, John Paul Odegaard, out of Brooklyn Center, so thank him, and thank all the fans. I just love them. It's great to see them packed every week. Rain or shine or freezing or hot, it's fabulous. We've got Thunder Cars, Bombers, and point standings still to come.
It's been 4 years since Marv Vincent of Faribault has run a feature race. That's a long time in any racer's book. But Vincent was looking invincible in the early going as he shot to the lead in the blue 97 car in the Thunder division. Dave Parrott stayed with Marv in the early going as Conrad Jorgensen, Kurt Mason, and Lawrence Ginsler in the white and yellow 05 ride began the pursuit.
Intense battle for second as Parrott in the number 40 and Jorgensen in number 3 were separated by a door handle as they powered through the turns. Conrad Jorgensen has taken over the driving of the number 3 car for his brother, Dangerous Dan, who has been sidelined with a cracked suspension, but the team owner has decided to stay with his brother, Conrad Jorgensen, for the remainder of 1994. 4 laps into the race, Vincent held a comfy 6-car length lead. By the next lap, Jorgensen had enough of a gap over Parrott to slide down low and lock into the number 2 spot. Meanwhile, Lawrence Gensler in 05 began working Parrott on the outside.
Jorgie's Party with Pizzazz car gained ground on Invincible Vincent, and suddenly they were racing side by side. On lap 10, Jorgensen used the outer groove through turns 3 and 4 to steal the lead. The contest for third included 3 cars, Parrott in number 40, Gensler in 05, and the 44 car of Jason Ostley. As Gensler was passed up by Ostley, Jason in 44 and Parrott thrilled the fans with a tremendous battle.
Driving the number 21 car of suspended driver Mike Dickey was Dennis Barta. Dennis the Menace likes driving in the rough and tumble divisions of racing and found it a little rough with the Thunder cars as he ripped the door panel loose and was forced from the track due to dragging the sheet metal. Parrott and Osley kept their racing skills sharp as they cruised up on the lap car of number 20 Mike Chatteron, creating a 3-wide effort in turns 3 and 4.
Jorgensen pulled away from the 30-car field, including Vincent, who will have to wait till another weekend to collect that elusive win. Tough night for points rider Bob White, who had a disappointing race finishing back in the pack. Due to that, Lawrence Ginsler came across in 5th place and moved back into 1st place in the point standings. Conrad Jorgensen is now trackside with Dwayne Fredrickson.
We're here with Conrad Jorgensen, winner of the FINA Thunder Car feature. And Conrad, you're in a brand new ride here. How long have you been in this one?
I've been running this car for 3 weeks now, taking over for my brother. I've been racing a lot of years, and it's a lot of fun to get back out here and drive.
Well, does the car run well right from the beginning when you got into it? I mean, those skills that you had from those years of racing in the past, do they come right back to you?
The skills come back slowly. The part of this pizzazz, Merrick's Towing Chevrolet, works very well out there, and it's very easy to get those skills back again with a car that works that good.
Well, were there any points in the race when you were concerned about losing the race? Was there a point that you can remember? I mean, do you remember a lot about it?
Well, right from the start, I knew that 40 car Dave Parrott was going to be tough, and the 97 car was running a good race, and he's always a good competitor out there. And when we worked around him, it was clear sailing to the end.
Do you guys work on the car a lot during the week, or is it just like one night a week for a couple hours?
Well, running 2 cars, the sportsman car and the Thunder car, takes a lot of time. It's about 5 times more work than having 2 cars.
Well, it's paying off for you. Congratulations, Conrad.
Thanks a lot, Dwayne.
World-renowned Elko Bombers that they have to run 2 feature races every Saturday night. How they split up the field are the season-long point standings. The top half of those drivers end up going to an A feature, and the bottom half of the drivers end up going to a B feature. Both races are very exciting, and Saturday night, the B feature with the guys that are trying to get into that top half of the season point standings, they were the exciting feature race, so let's take a look at their action. The way it all started, leading the field from the green with the number 74 car of David Noggle and 71 Troy Moss. The 38 car of Dave Copula and number 7 Ron Whelan occupied row number 2.
Moss's 71 ride was tapped in the side by Copula's and got a little squirrely careening through the turns, but he straightened it out to stay in the hunt. Near the back of the pack, the number 39 car of Troy Wangerin and number 96 Davey Pollock came together with a few loops drawing a yellow flag. But from the restart, Noggle continued his lead. Copula had moved past the 71 car of Moss for second, and 81 Bill Wagner was now in 4th spot.
The red car of Wagner battled the slightly banged-up Black Beauty of Copula for second place. Moss got real loose and lost some ground as Wagner moved up to the 3rd place spot. Top 2 cars were hard to reel in, and the 74 ride of David Noggle claimed the feature win. Troy Moss held second, and 81 Bill Wagner was 3rd.
In the A feature, Rob Osdick sat on the pole with number 17, John Schmidt, flanking him on the outside. They finished 1 and 2 in the race, and are also 1st and 2nd in season points. Jay Halbert finished in 5th, but was disqualified and suspended for 4 weeks for refusing to give up his engine on the claim rule. And exactly how does that work?
Well, basically, folks, in the Bomber division, it has a $100 plus your race car claim rule. If the driver thinks that a guy's put too much money into his car, he can walk up to the officials, give him $100, give him the keys to his car, and go, I want to trade cars. If the driver refuses, he sits out 4 weeks before he can come back. But then again, he is eligible to be claimed. What it does, it keeps the racing inexpensive in this division.
Well, it's a very unfortunate break, too, for Jay Halbert because he was in the top 8 in points, but that 4-week setback is certainly going to drop him way down the standings. So a tough break for Jay Halbert for refusing the engine claim. Well, here's a look at the top 10 from the A feature race last Saturday night. Elko Speedway invites you to write in for information on the Valvoline Performance Team. From the names we receive, each week we will select a winner of a complimentary Valvoline Performance Team membership. Winners will receive a case of Valvoline oil, a Valvoline Performance Team hat or T-shirt, team gear catalog, membership card good for special discounts, and 2 free tickets to an Elko Speedway event. For all this and much more, send in your name, address, and phone number to Elko Speedway, Box 246, Elko, Minnesota, 55020.
Congratulations to this week's winner, Chuck Nelson out of Minneapolis. Chuck picked up all those Valvoline goodies, plus a couple of tickets to Elko Speedway. A little extra stuff going on this weekend as it's camera night out at Elko Speedway. Bring your camera along. You can get some pictures of the drivers and their crew. Some great-looking race cars out there. All that will get underway at 6:30.
And we've also got some competition shaping up for the crews as well, because stiff up those cars, get them nice and polished, replace the sheet metal that you need to, clean those uniforms, because there are going to be some awards for the best-looking car and crews in each of the divisions on Saturday night.
Drivers, comb your hair. Race fans, we'll see you out at the track. 7 o'clock is time trials. 7:30 is the first green flag. And we'll see you next week right here on Midwest. The door handle racing was prevalent in all 4 divisions. Payne, Moeller, Ferris, Snyder, Ostick, Polzinski, Hellendrun. Who won? Stay tuned and you'll find out on the Valvoline Elko Race Report.
In the sport of auto racing, a variety of factors can affect the way a race performance is going to go. It could be the weather, it could be the way a car is set up, it could be track conditions. Hello again, everyone. I'm Wally Shaver, along with Ted Austad. It looked like track conditions might have been the factor last Saturday night, Ted, because unlike the week before, it seemed like the outside groove was really working well for these guys, and it created some absolutely fabulous racing.
Yeah, you'll see, Wally, a lot of times the tires will get greasy as they heat up. It seemed like as the tires heated up this week, they actually stuck. And it provided for some great racing. We had 2, 4, 6, even 8 cars that were battling and coming across the line only a second apart. A lot of great highlights. We had 4 fabulous races on Saturday night, and we'll have all the highlights in racing from those races.
Great balls of fire. The late models are up.
7 weeks remain in the 1994 racing season, and the stretch drive started for the late model drivers last Saturday night. Bloomington Scott Hagen sat on the pole opposite the number 11 Hooters car of Jason Schneider, currently 11th in season points. Schneider inched the lead early in the race and was followed into the outer groove by the red KYMN Chevrolet of Les Ferris. As Schneider and Ferris began pulling away from the high-powered field, Ferris looked for his spot. In turns 1 and 2, he ducked down low and used the slingshot effect to pull ahead of Schneider in the back straightaway.
Back a few notches, a 4-pack of cars began their assault to the front. The number 8 Merrick's towing car of Brian Mundahl, number 3 Phillips 66 ride of Steve Mergic worked to the outside, trying to reel in the number 16 black first chiropractic car of Scott Lefevre. Caution flew on lap 10 as Jim Colseth pulled to the infield with steam filtering up from under the hood as he blew a radiator hose. The realignment allowed Lefevre's car to pull up alongside Ferris's fire engine red number 14. Snyder's number 11 ride settled into row 2 on the inside, with number 8 Mundahl on the outside of him. 4 laps later, the 00 car after-hours machine of Lauren Petrash spun out, bringing out the second caution of the night. Since he caused the yellow, Petrash had to move to the back for the restart. Petrash's disastrous night continued as he hooked up with the white Express Lube number 19 car of Rick Austin in turn 1. Petrash had to retire to the pit.
Ferris jumps to the lead from the third restart of this race, which had just reached the halfway point. But Ferris was developing problems. He lost power on the back straight and was tapped by Schneider's number 11 car. Lefevre used the power outage to pull alongside Ferris. With 8 laps left, it was anyone's race. Ferris still held the points, but Lefevre, number 7 Jeff Martin, Schneider, and Mundahl in number 8, and Brian Johnson in the black number 18 Chev were all in the hunt. Martin and Johnson surged forward. With less than 5 laps remaining, the two had moved up to the leaders. Martin shot down low and took over third spot. Johnson then started working on Schneider's Hooters car.
As Ferris entered the front straight with the lead and only 2 laps remaining, he experienced another power loss. Teammates Lefevre and Johnson rocketed past to nail down the top 2 spots, but not for long as there was a 5-car pileup in turn 3 that brought out yet another caution. Mike Tuma, Brad Miller, last week's feature winner Barry Tanner, Scott Hagen in car number 31, and Mark Nessheim in car number 79 were all involved in the fracas. One thing to explain here, folks, when there is a crash, we have to explain that you go back to the last completed lap. At the start-finish line, Brian Johnson was not in front of Les Ferris. Therefore, Scott Lefevre held the point. Les Ferris was in second and Johnson in third. Look how they're lined up here. Lefevre is in the number 1 spot down on the inside. Ferris is on the outside of him. Johnson and Martin are in row 2, and Schneider and Mergic are in row 3.
Lefevre shot to the front from his pole position, but Johnson and Ferris traded paint on the front straight. Ferris lost power, and Martin's blue Ford banged into him. Martin broke a tie rod exiting turn 2, bounced off the wall, and collected the number 3 Pontiac of Mergic. Mergic's car came to rest just against the wall at the entrance to turn number 3, drawing the 5th yellow flag of the race. Now, it was a 1-lap sprint race. The first Cairo team were lined up side by side at the front. No way was team owner Scott Lefevre going to let the younger Brian Johnson beat him, and he didn't. A triumphant 1-2 finish for the pair of jet black Chevys. Let's now go to the tech area and talk to the jubilant crew.
A very exciting race tonight in the Valvoline NASCAR late model division. Great side-by-side racing. And Scott, you were in the front, then you went back a few spots, and you went to the front. Where did you think this was going to end?
Well, I wasn't sure. The car felt really good, and I was determined to try to go up front. I was a little hesitant to, on the restarts, to go to the outside, but I figured I had nothing to lose. If you can't pass them on the outside, you won't end up front. So I wanted to give it a shot, and the car worked really well.
The early going, it seemed like the tires were getting a little bit greasy on the outside. Was it because they were heating up, or were they too cool?
They were probably just heating up, and I was driving it too hard. But things turned out real well.
Well, we've got the first chiropractic race team here, first and second. And Brian Johnson, what was it like for you to be side by side there in that final restart with your partner right alongside?
Well, it's kind of fun having 2 cars painted up the same and, being teammates and finishing first and second. There's not too many cars out here that are teammates, and it's kind of different.
Well, some great competition there in that final 3/8 of a mile as you only finished a couple feet behind him.
Yeah, I gave her all I had. It's, his car's running good, and they're both running about the same, I guess, and it was fun.
Friendly rivalry here between you and Scott?
Oh, yeah. As long as we don't trade too much paint, we're okay.
What do you say to that, Scott?
Absolutely. I couldn't It couldn't feel better to win with Brian right next to me, and I would have been just as excited to have followed him across the finish line also. This is what it's all about for us, I guess.
A great race and a couple true champions here in the first chiropractic Luminous.
To win the sportsman race.
Oh, I'd have to put my money on Dan Ryan tonight, the Monte Carlo.
Dick Moeller! Dan Ryan, he's the fastest. Paul Payne, he's the best.
All their picks are in. The windows are now closed. The cars are in the gate. Now let's see how this unfolds. When the Gens Ryan Sportsman Division entered the track, only 3 points separated Dick Moeller from first place Steve Anderson. Moeller held a third-row starting spot, while Anderson was back in row number 6. As the field of 19 cars crossed the start-finish line, number 50 Kurt Barfnick and number 32 Jeff Partington were door-to-door at the front. It took several laps, but finally Barfnick could call the lead his own, something he enjoyed until the late stages of last week's feature race when his engine blew. Partington's Cadillac was running very well in the second-place spot.
Number 25, Darren Cleggstead, lost some ground from his third-place spot early in the race when he went sliding through the infield. This was shaping up to be an absolutely outstanding race. Barfnick's lead was extremely slim over Partington as 8 cars were speeding side by side for almost half the race. Paul Payne in 27, Moeller in 29, Dick Partington in 84, Kent Eastwick and Bill Wilbur were thrilling the thousands of race fans. The race's first caution period came out on lap 9 when Don Bryette's number 96 D&S cement car made a loud bang coming off the back chute and forced him into the infield.
Big move on the restart as a lot happened. Partington's caddy moved to the outside of Barfnick to take the lead. In the process, Jeff spun himself out in turn 2. Holy smokes, an alert Paul Payne moved to the outside from his third-place spot, taking possession of the race lead. Apple Valley's Dick Moeller mounted a strong charge. By lap 13, the 29 car also used the outside lane and bolted past Barfnick for second place. Moeller then set his sights on the frost paint Chevelle of Paul Payne.
A great effort was developing in the number 39 Gens Ryan car of Dan Ryan. He began the race in 12th position, but was powering his way up through traffic using the outer groove, and with 10 laps left, had moved up to 5th. The yellow came out on lap 15 as Chanhassen's Bill Larson spun his orange number 1 Cadillac in turn 3. Now, with the field squashed together for the restart, Moeller's gray car was riding right on Payne's bumper. The two pulled away from the field, and Moeller tried the outer lane. He did everything he could, but just couldn't reel in the leader.
The points battle is heating up between Dick Moeller and Steve Anderson, and this will make for very interesting racing the last half of the season. Paul Payne is standing by with Wally Shaver in victory lane.
Tremendous race in the sportsman division this night, and what really impressed me was through the first half of the race, 8 cars were just door to door. What were you thinking at that point?
Oh, everybody was running it was real clean, and they were side by side, and I was just waiting for a hole to open up, and heck, I didn't even know if it was going to be able to be open, but it did, and we were able to bring to win.
Well, finally it did because of a restart. You were in 3rd place at the time, but Jeff Partington spun out. You took the frost paint car high up on the outside, and that seemed to be the gap that you're looking for.
Yeah, Jeff Partington was running on the outside there, and he got a little bit hard on the throttle or something. He spun out and left the opening wide open for me to go into the lead, and then they had another spin out, and then we lined up again, and then Dick Moeller was on behind me. And
what did you think at that point with Moeller chasing you down?
Oh, he did that about 2 weeks ago too, I think, or when I won one. And I just wanted to run my groove and don't heat my tires up, and he's a hard charger.
Might have had a little bit of help with the wind tonight too, but Paul Payne, the winner in the sportsman division.
We've got Thunder Cars, Bombers, and the Flagman still to come.
Tire slots. Keeping our lives in alignment is a big challenge. Seems like we're always hitting those proverbial potholes. To get back into alignment, we need to prioritize and use our time wisely. Hi, I'm Tom Giga. Speaking of alignment, when your car or truck hits a pothole, come to Tires Plus for a free alignment check. Just as you need to keep your life in alignment, keep your car or truck in alignment at Tires Plus.
Why use Valvoline motor oil? It's the #1 choice of Indy 500 chief mechanics, Daytona 500 chief mechanics, NHRA mechanics, and Baja 1000 mechanics. For use in their race cars and in their own cars. Any more questions? People who know use Valvoline.
Budweiser welcomes you to the Voodoo Lounge. The Rolling Stones Voodoo Lounge Tour, live. Only one band is rock and roll, and only one beer can bring it to you. Budweiser, king of beers.
Sitting on the pole didn't mean a whole lot this past Saturday night. And in the FINA Thunder Car division, number 25, Kel Tenike, was about to find out. A daring move from the drop of the green flag saw the champion Auto Monte Carlo of number 26, Stephanie Wascott, bolt from her second row outside position between the two front row cars to grab the lead.
By lap 2, Tenike slipped another notch as Rick Cott brought his black number 27 Buick Riviera down low to shoot into second place. Cott has been running very well over the past month and has moved up into the top 20 in points despite missing the first 2 months of the season. Mark Breckenridge was climbing also, and he had secured third place by lap 5. The Northfield native came into the night 7th overall in the point standings, looking to move up.
The lead pack stayed very close together through the first half of the race. Not far off the pace was another group staging their own battle. The 82 Hollywood Bar and Grill Impala of Dwayne Hoffman moved alongside the 44 car of Jason Ostley. Right behind was the number 2 Monte Carlo of Mike Corbett trying to move beyond Fire Lake's number 45, Roger Zemedas. On lap 10 of the 20-lap feature, Cott moved outside of Wascott's 26 blue and white car and finally rustled the lead away on the back straightaway. The top two kept a nice gap between themselves and the rest of the gang.
Behind them, another close encounter for third place was being waged between Breckenridge, number 05 Lawrence Gensler, and number 46 Chuck Cito, who lives in Badness Heights. A very impressive showing came from the number 3 car of Minnetonka's Conrad Jorgensen. Following his win last weekend, Jorgensen started 27th in the 27-car field, accepting the Merrick's Towing Ultimate Challenge. With only 3 laps left, he had charged all the way up to 10th place. That's a lot of traffic to climb through, and he would end up 9th overall as he passed 2/3 of the field during the feature event.
The race's only caution unfurled near the end of the feature when number 2 Mike Corbett and the double nickel car of Joe Roke crashed into the turn 3 wall. Both drivers were okay, but Corbett's car left on the hook. The restart tightened things up. Cott maintained his lead over Wascott as the green light sent them racing. Thad Sunsdall continued his surge from his starting spot in 15th position and closed out the race, earning 5th.
Cott held off Wascott for the apparent win, but that lasted only half an hour. The tech officials found Cott with an illegal carburetor, and he was disqualified. Wascott was handed the trophy, followed by Breckenridge and points leader Lawrence Gensler. Now we'll take a look at the final finishing order for last week's FINA Thunder Car features, and then afterwards we'll meet flagman and Elko historian Kenny Wallstead. Racers have come and gone. Ownership has changed. But since the early days of racing, flagman Kenny Wallstead has been there.
Like Shabrowski's, I've flagged both the son and the father, and a lot of father-son combinations. Mergics were off the hand. All we had was the dirt piles in turn 3 and 4. Wood backchute walls. The cars all the year with splinters of wood breaking when they hit the backchute wall. Phil Stewart, when he was alive, and him and Ansel Jorgensen, which the Jorgensen boys are racing today, we put up the wall all the way around the racetrack.
Wallstead controls the show from his perch atop the flag stand. He is known for his keen eye in picking up trouble on the racetrack, and keeping the drivers as safe as possible.
When the features get spread out, I've got 8 points on the racetrack that I have to watch, but all I'm doing is spanning, looking for a car to get partially sideways. If there's somebody playing games out there, I leave that either up to the tower or the cornerman to come to the headphones with me and tell me, hey, such and such is bumping somebody else, and then I'll watch them. But other words, I'm looking, if somebody blows an engine, I got to get the rest of the car stopped before they get there.
28 years of service, many ask why a person dedicates so much of their time.
I still enjoy racing. I've always told Bob Fredrickson and any owner, once it becomes a job for me, then I'm out of here. Let somebody else take it over. My son was flagging for a while. He takes over when I'm on vacation, but it's still fun. That's why I'm here.
The kids watch him, the drivers respect him, but everyone loves Kenny Wallstead and all that he has done for the sport of auto racing.
What do you get when you cross a high-quality conventional motor oil with an advanced formula synthetic or revolutionary new oil that protects better than regular oils, yet costs 40% less than full synthetics? Durablend from Valvoline. People who know use Valvoline.
Here's our top 10 reasons to shop Tires Plus. Number 10, we do windows. 9, all the top for him. 8, don't like them? Exchange them. 7, work fast. 6, mouth to feed. 5, we recycle. 4, 90 days, no payment. 3, best price guarantee. 2, will a line break and shock you. And our number 1 reason to shop Tires Plus, we're from around these parts, and we're really nice. Low warehouse prices. Fast, world-class service. Tires Plus.
For 20 years, Featherlight has been America's choice. Aluminum, it's durable, lightweight, it won't rust. Featherlight trailers are built to last. Compare before you buy. From our simple bumper trailers to our large transporters, we use innovative ideas to build the product you expect. When you're looking for the right price trailer, quality, and service, then buy a Featherlight. Featherlight is the official trailer of NASCAR and ARCA.
For the largest selection, contact Twin Cities Featherlight at 1-800-860-6548.
At the end of the day, more top mechanics in America choose one motor oil over any other brand to help keep their own cars running longer. Valvoline motor oil. People who know use Valvoline.
In 1986, the drive to the 21st century began at Phoenix. With new ideas, new techniques, and a new commitment to the car and driver of the future. It meant testing and retesting the limits of fuel efficiency, resulting in a new kind of refinery, a new kind of gasoline, and a new era in automotive performance. An era that has begun. We're ready. Fina, a friend with the formula for the future.
You know, Elko Speedway has always been known for its great family atmosphere, and that was best exhibited this past Saturday night with Camera Day. All the cars lined up on the track. Tons of fans came down out of the stands onto the racetrack so they could meet and greet their favorite drivers. Photographs were taken, autographs were signed, lots of giveaways, too, as many drivers had their own cards to hand out, and lots of candy for the kids, too. Always a super time, and as you can see, a lot of cars on the track to greet the many faithful. And nobody snagged a shirt or a pair of pants on any of these old beat-up bombers. Speaking of which, it's time now to get into the bombers themselves, and this very exciting racing in the J.J. Plumbing's bomber division is always spectacular. The first 15-lapper hit the asphalt with Jason Polzinski in his Polish-powered Malibu leading the parade. He was flanked by crazy Dean Erickson, and his biggest concern was directly behind him. Current point leader Racing Rob Osdick occupied the inside row 2 spots as the green flag flew.
Polzinski moved to the lead almost immediately, with Osdick sliding into the second-place spot. Polzinski increased his lead over the point leader, but Osdick's tires began to bite, and he reeled in the number 04 car. Making a strong charge was number 32 John Hellendrunk in the Valley Sign Monte Carlo. Moving from his 4th-row starting spot, Hellendrunk was in a great battle with Dean Erickson as the field completed the 6th lap. Hellendrunk solidified third as the field began to spread out around the 3/8 mile oval.
Polzinski continued his lead over Osdick. Racing Rob is a former champion in the division and was looking to increase upon his large point lead. Chasing down the leaders were Hellendrunk, Erickson, 05 Tim Shaughnessy, and the number 4 car, Mike Swanson. As Polzinski led the pack through 1 and 2, he was tapped, making him loose. This was enough of an opening that Austad went low and Hellendrung high for a 3-wide battle for the point. The crowd moved to the edge of their seats as all drivers held their ground through the turns. They always say the shortest way around is on the inside, and Austad took advantage of being in the low groove to grab the lead from Polzinski. Hellendrung motor passed as well, and then set his sights on his friendly rival.
Dean Erickson continued the slide of Polzinski as he moved up to the number 3 spot, and before Polzinski could settle down, Shaughnessy shoved him back 1 other spot. The lead was controlled by Austad. Hellendrung did all he could, but the general manager of Raceway Park was not going to give up this feature race. Austad picked up another feature win, padding his lead over John Smith in the point standings. Hellendrung fought hard, but had to settle for second. Dean Erickson, Tim Shaughnessy, and Jason Polzinski rounded out the top 5.
In the Bomber B feature, Dan Ramsland of Eden Prairie picked up his first career feature win, beating out Mike Hellendrung, Todd Quinnell, and Troy Wangeren. Here's a look at the top 10 finishers of last Saturday's JJ's Plumbing Bomber A feature race. Elko Speedway invites you to write in for information on the Valvoline Performance Team. From the names we receive, each week we will select a winner of a complimentary Valvoline Performance Team membership. Winners will receive a case of Valvoline oil, a Valvoline Performance Team hat or T-shirt, team gear catalog, membership card good for special discounts, and 2 free tickets to an Elko Speedway event. For all this and much more, send in your name, address, and phone number to Elko Speedway, Box 246, Elko, Minnesota, 55020.
Congratulations to Joe Smolik from Virginia, Minnesota. He picked up all those Valvoline goodies plus a couple of free tickets to Elko Speedway. Who knows? Maybe he'll use those tickets this Saturday night.
And I think he should. Based on what we saw this last Saturday, it was fantastic racing in all the classes, really close encounters in every one of the divisions, and Elko Speedway is just a real easy place to get to, Ted.
It sure is, Wally. It's only 10 minutes south of Burnsville Center on Interstate 35. Watch for the Elko exits, and it's a couple miles to the Speedway. We'll see you there Saturday night. 7 o'clock is when the time trials take place. 7:30 race time. And then we'll see you next week right here on Midwest Sports Channel.